So, start off with a quick recap since we missed a week and JD's missed a session or two. Everybody hit level 3. I'm not going to recap the whole dungeon, but you can zoom out and view the whole area. But the party was coming back to town, and there was a large sinkhole that opened up, swallowed a wagon, and then a short while later swallowed 4 children and a mothery type woman. The party rushed to their aid and got them out, and when they did, they found themselves in that cavern on the far left of the map. The town elders were hollering down, wanting you to stop. You did not want to stop. You guys moved through. I'm not going to recap every room, but in this, the only thing I'm going to cover real quick is in one room you were attacked by 6 people that labeled themselves as the quote-unquote bringers of woe, and then you pretty much beat their ass. You guys found a boy being punished, a dim-witted person being manipulated. You made friends with him. It's relevant to last game, JD. I'm going to sync everybody's view to mine. Relevant to last game, this O right here is a really old guy who gave a lot of information. The gist of it was the town elders, or many of them, maybe not all of them, people that call themselves the Believers, believe that the dead bodies in here are entities worthy of worship called the Delvers, who use the stones, move the stones around to tell the party, sorry, I had the hiccups, to tell the believers, as it were, the things they've done wrong or when they do things wrong to try to help them stay on the right path. The people really didn't want you to go in. You went into this room. This is what it looks like. The stones are all floating a couple inches off the ground. They move easily with a touch. The party discovered that the floor had some type of levitation magic, and I won't go all the way into it, but that is the gist of it. When you did come in here, you were attacked by a fairly powerful spellcaster who used the stones for protection. And right before the end of the last game, if you have the combat tracker up with the double-crossed swords in the very top right of your screen, it's a button with the double-crossed swords, you will see it's his turn, because he was right here at this circle with Shaban, Oglavone, and Ragnar all surrounding him. And he slammed his staff down, sent a concussive wave, and blew all of you back 10 feet, and then retreated to his current position. And after he did that, he offered a truce to the party. He offered to stop his attack if you stopped your attack. And the party kind of seemed to be leaning towards it, but not 100% sure, so I stopped it before anybody made a decision. Points of information for you. You came in here, he attacked you using earth magic, powerful earth magic that caused the earth to explode. At one point, Badger went down. So that's going to be the first thing on the table. The one thing I'm going to reiterate, and it's mostly because JD wasn't here. New rule, JD. New thing we're doing. On your attack, we are going for a little more immersion, a little more description and fun for the game. So when you attack, I would like to get a description of your attack. It doesn't have to be completely flamboyant. It doesn't have to be fancy. But when you do attack, I'd like just a minor description. You know, whether a throat punch is a throat punch, a kick, how you attack, what you do. And feel free to do the just standard when you do attack and hit with a crit or a killing blow, you can give a detailed description. You know, some things can happen that you wouldn't expect happen.
Okay.
And that was the end of the last game. So this game will start with the party having... Sorry, I lost my sound there. With the party having just been hit with that concussive blast, blown backwards, and then the mage retreated to his current position. He retreated, let's see how many feet that was. He retreated 30 feet, so a total of 30 feet, and stopped there where he's at. and then offered a truce. So it is Matthias's turn. His turn was over, but the party can make their decisions. Bear in mind, you don't have time for a full-on conversation due to the fact that he's waiting, and you guys can take your turn. But if you want to have just kind of a conversation rudimentarily about whether you want to kill him or capture him or truce with him for information, all of it is up to you. So that's the first decision before you.
So, do we take him up on this?
I would say yes. I would say
break
yes.
it if we find it doesn't meet our needs.
True. Ogie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we should.
Probably need him to lay down his weapons and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, so far, what you guys have seen, his magic has been a much greater threat, although Badger did take some damage to the front of his robes from a glaive halberd that cut you pretty deep. But the magic has been the biggest threat. But anybody can talk that you wish, but with the lacking of Shaban actually being here, I'm not going to allow her. She can do some rolls here or there, which doesn't apply in this case. But I'm not going to allow Shaban to be the spokesman. One of you guys are going to have to hop up and fill that role.
All right. Well, I'll yell out to him and say, "Get down on your hands and knees."
Okay. The guy, I'm going to send JD that picture again just so everybody can see what he looks like. And just as a reminder, that's what he's looking like, the staff he's carrying. He calls out that he's offering a truce, not a surrender. He will trade you information in exchange for a cessation of hostilities. You stop attacking him, he'll stop attacking you, and he'll provide you information. You go your way, and he'll go his way.
I say we should decline that for sure. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, he's trapping little children. He definitely needs to probably die.
All right. Anybody else?
I could go either way with that.
Happy Meals, JD. Happy Meals.
Doesn't seem that evil to me. He's wearing a dress.
Anything that wears a dress is evil.
Oh, nice.
So, like, all of Scotland? Sorry, not that.
I say you go ahead and attack him. Tyus.
That's what we're doing.
I think if we attack him, we might all die, though. We'll see. He seems pretty fucking powerful.
It only hurts the first time.
Not true.
I suppose we don't accept your offer. With that, I would perhaps mutter a quick prayer, point my mace at him, and try to engulf him in searing flames.
Alright, let's see what we got here. Is it on me?
It is. It is on you, sir.
Is there anything I should know about him before I just run up and poke him in the eye with my sword? Teammates?
I think he has this burst attack where if we all get in the same space, we're all gonna get hurt. So I would stay, not try to get grouped together.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Alright, well, I guess I'll just run up and take a hit here.
So
Can you cancel that? I forget
you can
how to
just
do that.
redraw it. You don't cancel it. You just redraw it.
Can you open up the map again? And everything just went blank on me.
Did I give it to you?
Still blank.
Just give it to him.
Nope, it's popping back up now.
Nice.
He does like to receive it.
If only you could give it to me. Look, we got a bunch of runtime errors.
Oh no. Have you upgraded Fantasy Grounds recently?
Yeah.
Or updated it?
Oh, it's back up now.
Alrighty.
Cool.
So whenever you make a mistake with the move, just grab him and redraw. But when you start charging at him, he takes a bonus action, and he surrounds himself in a silvery mist and pops out of aforementioned silvery mist here. It's a bonus action spell. Doesn't mean you can't continue to run towards him, but he pops over there.
Alright.
It looks like he's making his level best for that bottom corner there.
I forget what my max is here. Hold on 1 second.
Your max is 45 feet, and Matt had used some of your key points. I believe he used 2 of them.
I think with 1 or 2 more hits, he's gonna go down.
I'm not
Okay.
sure if you meant think or hope.
Think. Hope?
Hopefully think.
Alright, I guess I'm just gonna get as close as I can here and then shoot him with an arrow. Aiming for his chest.
Got it?
Alright, now I gotta get the map out of my way so I can get my hotkeys. Sorry, out of practice here.
No worries.
And everything is so laggy. Did that roll a dice?
It did, and you missed. You rolled a 2 if it makes you feel better.
I'm glad I didn't see it then. Okay. Let me get to the dragon here. I guess it's not a dragon anymore.
I'll take care of it if you're having. Okay. It might be the player's handbook takes a bit too long.
Yeah, it's causing me all kinds of problems.
I'll approve your movement. Sorry about that. I had the thing over it. The player's handbook tends to lag a little bit the first time you bring it up, but after that, I'm not sure if there's any way to even stop it after it started.
I throw a javelin at his head.
That is a miss. So let me pull up her stuff, because I know that she's definitely arranged when she can.
Right.
Especially since he named all his weapons, because that doesn't make it difficult. Always being fancy. So he moves up, and that puts him 40 feet away, so he's going to definitely rely on his short bow, because his dagger's range is a little less. Scores a hit, and lodges an arrow into his side. And that brings it to you, Dimble.
All right. He'll stay exactly where he is and whip his wand around and say Snollygoster. And a beam will shoot out from his wand. Oh, yes!
Nice.
Get him.
Yes!
Nice.
Wow.
And that is the way you end a battle. So the beam hits him, and at your discretion, you can just describe or leave it at that, but it kills him either way.
Yep, so he starts to turn around and a beam shoots out and hits him right in the back of the head, and he falls over.
Blows his head. So we got one guy cut in half with a hammer, and another guy's head turned into a canoe.
I'll rush over and high five Oki.
High five.
We got the kid abuser!
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm going to unmask this area. I'm going to read the description of the room, and then I will leave it up to you guys to go and do what you want. So, this is an enormous chamber with a 20-foot ceiling that has been carved out of the rock. The lantern you picked up, or there's somebody actually didn't pick it up. I'll put it on your sheet up top. It was a pretty nice lantern. The odd array of stone monoliths, some standing upright and others arranged in arches, which you saw in the picture, are around. 6 low stone slabs are set around the wall, and the slabs aren't displayed, but they're under the 6 bodies. Thought that would be the easiest way to tell them. Each holds humanoid bones dressed in scraps of tattered cloth and rusted armor. So the cloth is starting to decay. It's so old.
I did pick that lantern up and put it in our communal bag
Okay.
last time.
Right. I just didn't. I don't think I added it on there. I might have. If I didn't, I'm gonna make sure it gets added. That way you guys can drag it to yours. It looks like. I'll see if it's there. If it's not there, I'll put it there. So the tokens are unlocked. Let me turn that fancy battle music off. Get something a little more creepy, and we'll let you guys go ahead and move around the room and do as you would like.
I'll walk over to one of the bodies, and I want to investigate the thing up above them or below them.
Oh, they're on slabs of stone. They're just slabs of stone that have been carved out.
Oh, okay. And was there anything on the wall, like runes or anything like that?
Nothing specifically descriptive, just chisel marks.
Can I take a closer look at one of the bodies to try to see if I recognize them?
You can. So, give me a perception. And I see the two that Ogie and Ragnar threw me. I'm going to just cover them all at once. So, starting with the bodies. When it comes to the bodies, for example, the bodies that you guys found a couple rooms back that had been were being eaten by rats, they had the symbol carved into their head. And I'll see if I can send that again. But they had the symbol that was carved into their skull there. That one. They were freshly dead. These bodies look like, looking at the bones especially, these bodies have been dead for decades. But they're decently well preserved, possibly even when you take into consideration the fact that this place may have been undisturbed for a while, possibly even centuries. These bodies are, without a doubt, very aged many years. As for Oglavone, as you're looking around, it looks like you're by some stones, and the stones, as you can tell, only difference here as opposed to up in the previous room, whereas the previous room had one specific set of 2 5-foot squares that had a levitation area where the stone floated. This whole room is apparently subject to a levitation field. So if you touch these as you're looking around, they will move with the slightest touch. And you can move them around instead of just slightly, they don't fall. And Ragnar, the room, as I've covered, is just generally no different with that. You don't see anything different from there. If presuming you are moving around, you do notice and that the foot traffic in the area tends to go along this line.
Okay.
It's supposed to have kept drawing. Give me a second, it'll catch up. I marked the 5-foot square where his body is.
I'd like to cast Detect Magic as a ritual. Is that okay, everybody? I think that takes, is that 10 minutes?
It is 10 minutes.
I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
Okay.
And I threw everything you guys have found in here, including the lantern, and all of it, including this guy's gear, onto the party sheet. You don't need to sort it now. We'll handle that later. For the Detect Magic, the bodies are not magical. The only thing that's radiating magic is the floor. And it's the same magical emanations that you have seen before of the transmutation school.
Got it.
So I wonder what would happen if we did like a silence or like a dispel magic or something. I wonder if the rocks would just fall. Or do we even have anything like that?
I don't have a spell like that.
Silence is a cleric spell, and dispel magic is I think that's a both spell, but it's a little powerful.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Yeah, those are a little bit higher level. You can come back here later.
We'll come back here and mess this place up.
Okay. All right. Interesting. What do you guys think? Should we inspect the corner here?
Yep, that's what I was just heading for.
Oh, yeah.
Siobhan could probably. Ooh, never mind. Wow.
So what's going on with this wall?
So, the wall, as you move down there, very clearly, especially as you get closer, you can see that it's a secret door. It's not even extremely well hidden when you move down there. When you do get down there, the door pivots on a central point, which means instead of being like a door that we all have in our house, it's a stone slab that's melded into the wall, but it looks like somebody drove something solid, like a pole, right through the center of it. So if you push on the left side, it spins so that it will have an opening on the left and right. So the wall spins around the center. When you touch it, it does push forward. And I'm going to uncover it, and then I have something else to describe to you.
Classic.
So about 15 feet down, it's a narrow opening, and about 15 feet down, you can see that, let me mark it here with about right here, it looks like about half or a little more than half of the cave is collapsed. And there's about a 4-foot area that you could squeeze through, maybe even I'd say up to as low as 3 feet in of an area that you could squeeze through. But it looks like the area also has the wall on the right is attempting to fall in. It has one solid timber that is bracing the part of the wall that is attempting to collapse up. Meaning if you were to kick that one timber down or hypothetically run through with people chasing you and yank that out, that whole area would collapse. But it looks like it's been rigged so that you can squeeze through without knocking it down. But in the event of choosing to yank that out, either on this side or that side, the whole area would be buried.
Nice. We'll have to keep that in mind as we're running away from this place from whatever we're about to find.
Hypothetically.
Okay. Well, I'm totally down for seeing what's at the end of this tunnel.
Hell yeah, me too.
So one thing real quick. We left the boy and Grund all the way back at the beginning of that long trapped hall. Should we leave them there, or what do you think?
Someone should probably stay with him, I guess.
Maybe we can bring them closer to where this door is, maybe?
Bring the child into the room with dead bodies and floating rocks.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Maybe we have Shaban stay with him.
There we go.
Yeah.
Your character becomes the babysitter if you're not here.
Unlike kids.
Yeah. I'd be a lot more comfortable with that.
Shaban heads back and teaches the kid patty cake.
Alright, well, I'm going to poke my head in a little bit here and do a perception check. Make sure there's no traps or anything going to fall on my head or any of that good stuff.
There are no traps that you can detect.
Alright, well, I'm going
Tasha's favorite saying.
Uh-huh.
Can I try and inspect as well?
You may.
As a matter of fact, I will, Matthias, I'll assist you. Can you do that? Because I'm sure your perception is probably pretty strong.
Very well.
You should have an advantage. Is that right, Tony?
Correct. If you assist him, you grant him advantage.
So I'll sit there in the entrance and say, "Oh, what about over there? Oh, that could break. Look at that."
Helping or hurting, Badger? Helping or hurting? Helping, apparently.
In fairness, you dropped a 17, so he helped, but he only helped by 1. But you also have no traps that you can detect.
Alright.
Cool.
This seems perfectly safe.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to slowly move my way through here.
Okay, you squeeze through, presuming that you're trying not to knock out the timber that's holding everything up. And you notice that, it has a lot of weight on it. You would have to make a conscious effort to knock it down unless you're, a massive Goliath. Whoops. But the tunnel from there, you can see Ragnar. Looks like it extends about another 30 feet to a trap door, or a wooden door, not a trap door, in the ceiling. Like it kind of goes, it starts inclining and it goes up to a wooden door that's on the ceiling.
Nice.
Now, remind me, are we far enough underground that it would be unreasonable for there to be, like, another underground room above us?
You originally were, but this area seems to have had a slight incline ever since you came out of the sinkhole area, like it was built on an incline, so you're not sure exactly how high or close to the surface you are. From where you're standing to where this trapdoor on the ceiling is, you're looking at about 100 feet of walking, so and it is on an incline as well.
Okay.
You mean an incline up or incline down?
He stepped away for a second.
Sure, yep.
Guessing it would be up, otherwise it'd be a decline, right?
Correct. It is an incline. Sorry, my kid's mom called him. I had to carry the phone in there to him.
I bet you this comes up underneath one of the places in town.
That would be cool. That would give us some insight of who the heck's doing all this crap.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of know. A little bit.
We do?
We do?
Well, somewhat. We know who believes, at the very least. The other village elders. The old man at the door told us things when we scared him.
You guys were kind of mean to him.
I missed that. Okay, good to know. Alright, so we charge up there.
Okay, you move up, and all of you can move through, even over the bone. You just gotta, the larger of you need to take a little more time trying to squeeze through. It doesn't require any checks, but unless you're intentionally ripping down the timber, trying to collapse that. But you look, it's very clear that if he had gotten into this area and pulled that on his way out, there's no way you would have caught him.
Oh, he was heading that way. He almost made it.
So, after you get up to the door, it's a 5 foot by 5 foot little trap door, and it looks like it's in the floor of something. And with a 19 plus 5, there are no traps that you can detect.
Maybe we should listen at the trapdoor.
It's a good idea.
The perception counts as listening. You don't hear anything specifically in that area. What you do hear is a sound of hammers or some type of crafting semi-close by. You hear the occasional muffled voice, but it's definitely not right on the other side. And even then, you would probably guess it's on the other side of something on the other side of this.
It's a smith.
Right.
Okay.
Well, do you want me to go ahead and just poke my head right in?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, well, I'm going to do it up till the point where my eyes can see out.
Okay. And you lift it, and what you notice is you are in what is roughly a 10 foot by 10 foot shed. There are a stack of 5-8 foot long 2x4-ish wood. There's also some long metal bands, maybe about 4 inches wide, but 6 feet long. They're stacked up in the corner. There's the rest of the stuff around this shed are just random tools that look like they all have to do with woodworking. The trap door is in the very back middle, and it's behind a stack of timber, so you would have to walk around and know it's there to pull the pull ring on the other side.
Gotcha.
But the shed is completely empty. The voices and the sounds you can hear louder, but you can tell obviously they're coming from outside of the shed.
So, do you think we should go up there and confront person, or what do you think?
Guns blazing.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, so I'm going to magically float to the top there and then do a perception check.
Okay, and you make your way to the top. There's no map for it here. There's a different map. So there's one door, and you're now in the shed. All right. Two of you could fit into the shed. 4 technically could if it wasn't full of shit.
How long does it take us to get up into the shed? Is it like a long process to kind of
No.
climb out?
I mean, it's pretty. It looks like it was made to be traveled frequently, so it takes you maybe a couple seconds. I mean, you pull yourself up. So it was designed with that intention.
Okay, so basically we could just like say charge and we could all just run across and scream out loudly.
You can.
The villagers are already a little bit mad at us.
Okay. Well, do we want to come up with a plan here, or do we want to go ahead and head out of the shed and see what's going on?
I think whoever, kind of runs this thing, we need to capture him and subdue him.
All right.
No?
No killing. Got it.
Why not do a little peek outside the shed door, kind of stealthy thing, so we can see
Cool.
out there?
All right. I am going to poke my head in again to the other room, and then perception.
So you're opening the door?
Just cracking it open and poking just my head out.
Okay. I'm going to get you a new map. It'll be just a second. I was creating an item onto the sheet there for my simplicity. Close that. So, I'm going to send you an image. It's going to be a little fuzzy because we're nice and zoomed in. You peek out of this building. When you peek out of this building, what you see is a good number of people moving about. They look mostly like workers, carpenters, laborers. The yard is full of wagons. They are, I wouldn't say the most high quality wagons, but they look like they might do. You guys have moved around town quite a few times. You know that there are 2 wagon makers in town. This is the lower quality one, and people look like they're just making wagons, and they look like they are laborers, completely oblivious to your existence.
Okay.
Maybe. So let me ask you this. So, should we back out all the way, get the kid and the I think it was a half-orc, was that right?
Yep.
Into safety, go get the sheriff, and then head over here and basically have this guy arrested?
Certainly a possibility.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
The sheriff's name wasn't one of the names given by the guy sitting outside of the door, was it?
It was not.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Or we could just sit at the bottom of this until somebody comes into it, and then we just nab them.
That's true.
Maybe
There's also
waiting a while.
There's also a child down here. Is with a half-orc.
Right.
A very nice half-orc.
All right. Guess we can back out here.
Okay. You guys back down into the area with the bodies. And you don't have to move your tokens around, just a general description of what you're doing on your way out and what method you are exiting. I will point out, though, I'm going to adjust your map, sync your client view to mine. do not forget that you did have Greenwing explore this tunnel, but it was just a cursory, quick glance.
Right.
Who's Greenwing?
That would be Dimble's pet owl, who he can see through his eyes.
Familiar, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to downgrade
worries.
your familiar.
No worries.
He's a special pet, but, you know, in fairness, my girlfriend has a familiar, so. Her name is Jujubee.
Jujubee.
Her
Sorry,
ears
dog.
just perked up. That was so cute.
What kind of critter is it?
It's
Someone
a dog.
called it a dog.
Okay, gotcha.
JD, you gotta love Jujubee.
Me and him are not friends.
While you're eating.
So I think we need to collect all these people, the old guy, the half-orc, and the boy. And I don't think we should head down the trapped hall, to be honest. We have time, so let's go all the way around and then go back to the sinkhole.
Sure. And then we can decide if we maybe want to see where that other tunnel goes.
Yeah.
Well, do we just want to get that kid to safety and then do more plans?
Yeah.
Do we have 2 spots to check? Or just the one?
I think it's just the one to the north. Everything else looks like it's explored.
The way that might be where those guys that attacked us.
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, that's right. That's probably where they came from.
All right, let's go there.
Okay.
But we also didn't probably just drop the kid off of his parents because they put him down here.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be an involved process, I think.
Yeah. I think we need to deliver all these people to the sheriff first.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
then
gonna
come
kill
back
something.
down.
Yeah, exactly. Come back down and maybe he can... We'll see how many people he has. He can scrounge up to go abduct the wagon maker that obviously is connected to this.
Yeah, maybe he can give us some more people to come down here with.
Yeah.
The
Once
question
they're not
is,
hogging up our experience.
Okay, so one thing real quick. I want to give a little piece of information before we go on. I believe, Dimble, you're from this area. Is that correct?
Yeah, from the general area. Yeah.
I know Oglavone's from the mountains of the north. Let's see. Did you have a specific location in your background, Matthias? Were you from this area?
Waterdeep.
Okay, so you are. What about you, Ragnar? You were from a elf kingdom nearby, but you were also trained by the Drow, right?
I was held captive by the Drow, but yeah,
Okay.
trained by him too.
So I need an intelligence check from everyone. I want advantage from Dimble and Matthias. And that's going to be on the front of your sheet on the left side. I always mix them up. That's why I always go over it. Saves are on the right. Left side is intelligence. Should just be able to double click.
Killing it with these hit rolls.
What advantage should have 2?
And by that, I mean only going up by 1.
Ignore the wolf there. So, does anybody, as a general rule, unless I feel like it's something that you won't want to share, I share it with everyone. Does anybody have an objection to that there?
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
makes sense.
Okay, so Matthias, you specifically, and a little bit Ragnar tugs at your memory, but one of the things is you guys are stripping, Mr. Dress made of stone. He was wearing a robe made of stone slat or pieces, all interconnected. You have, most of it's normal. Some flasks for the lantern, some his glaive, which is a nice weapon for someone like Oglavone. Strongly recommend you consider grabbing a glaive. It's a two-handed weapon, but it gives you 10-foot reach, so you can hit someone from 10 feet away. That's completely beside the point. One thing at the top, it'll say bars of spindled iron onto the party sheet. That's the letter I at the very, very top right with the 3 people. I'm drawing your attention to them because if you look at them, they are little bars about a foot long. They're very heavy. They're made of spindled iron, which is refined iron, I believe, but it's high quality iron, but they're stamped with a symbol. He had them in a bag. They were, pretty heavy, but the bag looked like it had been reinforced, but they are stamped with the symbol of an axe. And Ragnar, but more specifically Matthias, you identify that symbol on those bars, and it's inlaid, so it was stamped when it was made as the symbol of the Kingdom of Mirabar.
Okay. I would share this with the group.
Interesting. So it sounds like there was that Mirabaran delegation that was supposed to come through here, right?
So, other than that, you guys made your way out. The only thing of note, other than the bars, is on your way out. I'm assuming, I wasn't here for all of it, but I assumed you were taking the young child and Grund.
Mm-hmm.
In the chamber where you found the rats gnawing on the 3 bodies, as you're making your way out, the bodies are gone.
Is there anything left there?
Some rat corpses. Someone has grabbed the bodies, the gore from the devastation that you guys wrought, and you guys inspected the bodies, but, it's a lot of gore. But the bodies themselves are gone.
That's too bad that we didn't get some evidence, because there's a number of things we can go back to the sheriff with right now.
So is it globally getting warmer then?
Possibly.
All the gore?
Are humans to blame?
Just getting my Al Gore reference in.
Sorry, I'm a little slow there. Sorry.
So, other than that, you guys make your way out, and how are you guys getting out? The rope, or are you heading up that path out of the sinkhole area?
I think we need to get the kids out of here via the sinkhole. The kid and Grund.
Okay, so you guys slide the kid and Grund up. Grund doesn't seem too concerned. He seems to not be overly worried about how to get outie. But you get them out either way. And are you guys going up the rope?
What do you guys think? I think we need to go take these guys to the sheriff. All 3 of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, if we let the kid go back to his dad, he might get in more trouble for us letting him out early.
When we say 3, are we talking about the body of the guy you killed?
No, the old man as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I completely forgot about him, to be honest. So,
The bodies were gone.
So, the 3 bodies were gone. The body of the guy in the robe that you guys killed just a minute ago, his body was still there. But the bodies that the rats were gnawing on a couple games ago, those bodies are gone.
Okay.
So you guys make it out of the sinkhole. The common villagers praise you. They're very happy, especially you brought that kid out. You get a couple looks from people in the crowd, but they don't seem to be overly hostile. But the average people are cheering you and slapping you on the back, thanking you. But you make your way out of the sinkhole, which is there, that circle to the right, and you head over to the sheriff, but you don't have to go very far. The sheriff's actually at the crossroads between the two roads, and he has about 4 deputies with him. Deputies of the small towns being what they are. And he sees you as you see him, and he makes his way over to you and asks you what you found.
With our bloody weapons and bloodstained clothing.
With 3 in tow, covered in gore, rat and humanoid.
Right. So, I guess we'll recount kind of what happened, kind of blow by. Is there anyone around listening in on the conversation?
A great deal of people are around listening in on this conversation. They're shoving to be closest to listen in on your conversation.
I would suggest to the sheriff that perhaps we have a private conversation instead of one out in the open.
The sheriff kind of nods at you and has the deputies kind of push away through the crowd, and he leads you, your 3 friends, and his deputies to his very small, for the crowd size, gathering. But he seems to, as they try to follow the crowd, he kind of barks at them a couple times and sends them scurrying. But once he barks at them, they kind of retreat, and he makes his way over towards his office, offers you guys his only wash basin and a pitcher of water for those of you who want to get the more gory parts of yourselves cleaned off. And then he basically asks for your story. Feel free to just, you don't have to explain it exactly. If you want to hit any points that you want hit, that's fine, but you can just give a blow-by-blow without actually giving it if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I would suggest that the major things that we want to say is that the wagon maker, this thing came up right underneath their property, so he's probably involved. I think we want to give him the name of the elderly man. I'm sorry, give him the names from the elderly man. And then maybe ask him if he recognizes this child that was held as a captive.
So he does recognize the child, and he tells you that he knows his father. He takes all this information. He jots a couple things down. He seems very concerned, but he seems more interested in listening than writing stuff down. He kind of shakes his head when you say the bodies disappeared, but he doesn't seem to recognize them based off your description. So he tells you basically the people you've named are either elders in the town or respected business owners. He said that doesn't mean they are free from justice, but it does mean that he has to get all the information before he takes action. And it asks if he can take custody of the 3 people. Says he'll put a guard on them, and he's going to question each of them, specifically the old man and Grund. And he will gather the information and keep you updated on the situation. He tells you that lacking the bodies, it's going to make it more difficult, not impossible. It's just going to take longer without, solid evidence.
What does he think about the metal bars with the Mirabaran delegation?
Now, he tells you that he is growing concerned. The delegation is late, and it's not late by a few days. You had some rains. They're getting late. While you guys were out yesterday, and as you guys have been out, he's been looking at gathering information about what was going on in the area. What do people know? And he's had a large number of people coming forward, and he's sorted through the majority of it, and he starts rifling through a bunch of papers on his desk. He finally pulls one up and says he's gone through a good deal of it, and he's got rid of all the, what he suspects to be fake reports or reports that aren't related, and he's dwindled down all of the reports to the things that he thinks are most credible. But he says that he would like to, if you don't object, if you guys wouldn't mind giving him custody of these three, he will bring it by. He can't seem to find it. He has a list of them, and maybe a little later, because it's probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He asks if he can meet you at the Swinging Sword, either after your dinner or in the morning, with a report on what these three have told him and a collection of the rumors reference to Mirabar. And he does tell you that those are trade bars from Mirabar, and he wants to give you the information all at once and possibly corroborate or collect everything you guys have and everything they have all at once. But he wants to try to use your shock and awe that you've put these three through to get information before they clam up.
One last thing. I think Dimble can probably have most of the conversation back and forth, and he's going to try and ask questions and kind of put the sheriff in a position where maybe Matthias, do you want to get an insight on him just to make sure that he's not involved? Just to try and get a read on him?
Sure.
Okay, you guys have known him quite for at least I'd say a 10 day and a half, and you've had quite a bit of interaction with him, so you can go ahead and make that insight check at advantage to see if his behavior is different than you would expect.
He seems fine.
He's an awesome guy. Alright, well, cool. Anything else? Did we miss anything? Anyone?
So based off of that check, he seems very, like a very simple guy, much as like you had earlier seen in him. He doesn't seem at all interested in shady business. He's a sheriff, he's a constable sheriff, he's a butcher, and he just doesn't look like he has a lot of time for bullshit. So when people are acting out of sorts, that takes time away from his already busy life, and he seems like he's really interested in getting to the bottom of it.
Okay. Before we go, if we're kind of moving towards heading out, I would just like to ask him if he maybe has heard of this group before, just in general.
He tells you he has not heard anything about them.
All right.
Okay, so he has promised to come see you at the inn where you guys are sleeping, either tonight or early tomorrow, after dinner or around breakfast time or around there. If you guys are amenable to that and nobody has any desire to do anything, I'm going to go ahead and apply arrest. But if you do, please absolutely feel free.
Oh, do we want to go back down into the sinkhole and explore in the other direction?
I want to try
What do you
to
guys
get
think?
my silver sword. Do you think that's in yet?
It's not, but I have it here. I'm tracking it. You guys have been in town for 11 days. So it said they said it was going to take roughly 14 days, or almost a 10 day and a half for your weapons to get in. So you have about 4 days before your silvered sword comes in, and that's both you, Ogluvone's silvered greatsword, and Ragnar's silvered short sword.
Does anyone object to me taking the glaive?
Not at all.
Go for it. I'll take the great silver sword when we get it.
So it looks like everybody needs to move stuff here or there. So now that everybody's out, this is what I would recommend, because this is something we're going to end up doing pretty frequently. And I'm going to hop onto your thing, Double, just in a second. So if there's anything on the party sheet that you like, how you want to do it is you want to open your character sheet and then drag the item from the character sheet onto your inventory and drop it. Okay, and once it's in your inventory, for example, it looks like Oglivon, you moved the glaive. If you look on your inventory, on the glaive on the far right, it should have it'll either have a bag, like a little bag, or a shirt. If it's got a bag, you're not using it. Click the bag and turn it to a shirt. That means it automatically will show up in your actions tab.
Oh, that's
Mine's
how that
already a
works.
shirt.
The glaive isn't.
Yes, it is.
Oh, then it's not showing on mine. Sorry, I must be lagging. If it's showing as a shirt on the glaive, then it will be on your actions tab. Already automatically, the game automatically transfers it, and all your attacks and everything is already calculated. So anytime you want to use it, it should be in alphabetical order.
Sweet.
Okay, so what I recommend, the system you use, is at the end of an adventure, a dungeon, whatever, you move everything from the inventory sheet over to the character sheet of the person who wants it. Anything left, I can sell and then transfer the money equally split between you. But you don't want anything left there that you don't want to sell, because once I click the button, it all sells.
Right. Yeah.
So should we go ahead and fill our crossbows up?
So when it comes to crossbows, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I need to do Shaban, so I'll go over that real quick. There's a couple different ways you can do it. I'll just use Shaban's, for example. Shaban has used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 arrows. So you can look on your weapon. It looks like you used 4 on your short bow on your actions tab. So what you want to do is go to inventory, the total number of arrows you have. I'm not sure how yours is tracked. You want to reduce it by that number. So if you have, looks like you have 21, so you want to drop it down by 4. And then on your actions tab, take those check marks off and change the total number of ammo to the new number from your inventory.
Now, Tony. Hold a second.
There are no arrows in, looks like Oglivon used bow. I know that Ragnar uses a bow and arrow, and Shaban uses a bow. These guys have been using crossbows. So it says 45 bolts. You can't use those in your bow and arrows. You can use a crossbow, but I really don't think you guys will like those very much, because you have to load them and shoot them. So you lose a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want a crossbow. You guys feel free.
If I was to place my old shield in the parcel items place, would that then be kind of like...
Selling it?
Yeah.
Yes. But when I do that, that money goes into the party loot, not your loot.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Does anyone want to keep the lantern?
I'll grab on. nobody else wants it.
I can see in the dark. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see anything here that I wouldn't mind selling.
If you're gonna grab the, okay, you're getting the oil. Good. Ragnar Ragnar and Ogie, both of you something you're interested in. At the top right, the buttons, the one that I don't know what that looks like. I guess it's like a notepad with the number 1 on it. It's the calendar. If you go ahead and give that a click for me, it should pop up with the calendar.
Yep.
Did you get it up, Ogie?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Wife's calling me.
I'll wait for him, and in the interim, I'm going to go ahead and do what Badger asked. He asked for the people he named to be marked on the map. Okay?
Just circled on the red large map. Their businesses or whatever.
So we can
So-
torture.
Right. There's one at the very top left.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. So as for the calendar, if you look on, it should have one date that's got a black around it. It says the 15th.
Yep, got it.
That's the current day. You see the 19th?
Yep.
If you double click on anything with a red dot, that's when something's going to happen. That's when your stuff gets here. But the calendar is a good way for you to track that, I can tell you as well. You're more than welcome to look at it at any time.
Perfect. Okay.
Just wanted to let you know it was there. And I'm working on your third circle. There were 3 people named. I'm working on your third circle now.
Huh?
It was for Dimple. The third circle is a little more tricky to come up with. I'll have to get it for you. It isn't, it's not marked here, but I will pull it up as soon as I can. But for you, Dimple, the other tunnel comes out in the quarry in the very top left. So the same building I put a circle around. One thing is of note is when you guys make your way out of that tunnel, just kind of peeking around, you also see workers in the quarry, but you also see one person that looks like a little familiar. He looks like you've seen him before. He's a short halfling that looks like that.
Aha!
He's just doing standard work, but he kind of sees you guys, specifically Oglavone. He spits in your general direction and walks off. He does not like you.
I wish I had a cup right about now.
So you can hit a waitress.
That was Siobhan's fault.
Okay. The rest of the people in the quarry, including him, they don't look like they're aware of it. They see you. They don't seem to particularly give too many shits about you. They kind of give you a little sideways eye of why you would want to be in the quarry, but they're pretty busy trying to make quotas, so they mostly ignore you.
Was the father of the child that was a captive, was he one of the names that the elderly person fingered?
The child, 1 second. This isn't chamber. I want 1 second. So the child's father, and he told you his name is Rothar Hatherhand. No, he was not one of the ones named, but the reason why he was in trouble was he was supposed to be delivering a message to the man whose shed you guys came up underneath. Not the quarry, but the actual wagon guy. He was the wagon guy was the recipient of the message the young boy was supposed to deliver, but didn't. But the actual father wasn't named by those people.
Gotcha. So the wagon guy, what was his name? Marlondo? Ilmeth?
The wagon guy, I'll type it. It's Ilmeth, but it's...
I got it in my notes. And the guy that's all the way up the top in the quarry, next to the quarry, what's his name? Is it Baragustus?
No, Bar Augustus was
Bradford
actually the guy down there. He doesn't have a job, built a business. He's actually rather old, and just is living. But the other one he named is to the upper left, the quarry owner. He wasn't named in any type of carrying, but it's a female
I'll be
named Alberi Maliko. I have to type it for you. And she owns the quarry where you guys came up, but she was named, but she wasn't involved in any of the letters of the young child stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, what do you all think we should do? Think we should go get a rest?
I am exhausted. Absolutely.
All right.
Alright, so you guys are taking a rest now?
Yeah.
Call that a long rest. And you can reset your rages and your key points, your spells. If you wish to change your spells, now's your chance. So, with that,
Sounds like a break's coming.
not at all. I'm just trying to figure out how to move the day on the calendar. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's the 16th. I'll have to move the day. It doesn't seem to want to let me. Either way, it's the 16th. I'll figure that out. I'm not an expert at the calendar quite yet. So everything in the party sheet I'm going to sell, correct?
Correct.
Sounds good to me.
I'm going to split the gold up between everybody. And I gave everybody 62 silver, 116 copper, and 133 gold.
Nice.
Hey, Tony. Real quick, I want to make sure that I understand this. So the old
Yes, sir.
man mentioned 4 names as old believers. So Baragustus Arbuckler, Marlandro Gaelker, Ilmeth Whalver, and Rothar Hatherhand, right?
Correct.
Okay. And the 2 businesses, the Ilmeth was the wagon guy, and the quarry guy was who?
The quarry guy was actually a woman, Alberi Maliko.
So she wasn't even named, huh?
She was not. The 2 businesses that were tied were to the area. Now, the ones he named were the ones I gave you. The 2 that didn't have businesses, or 3, I guess, Rother Hatherhands, Baragustus, and then the other one I have written down, I don't have memorized, you had it.
Marlandro Gaelker?
Correct, Marlando Gaelker. I don't believe he has a business. Thankfully, this book just gives you random names and assumes you have the whole town memorized, which I do not. But I do not believe they have any business that I could find.
Gotcha.
So I've got a quick question whenever we get a break.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break then, and you can go ahead with your question.
Okay, I was just wondering, how do I set up a potion of healing in my hotkeys?
Okay, for your hotkeys or just a clickable?
Just I mean, if I could put it in the hotkeys, that's great, but yeah, clickable.
I've never tried to make it in a hotkey, but if everybody wants to take a 5-minute break, I'll help him. Actually, you already have one. If you click on the Actions tab, Ragnar,
Yep.
it says Potions.
Mm-hmm.
Click the magnifying glass to the right.
Oh, okay, so you just click that button and it does it.
Correct. Now it's your
I should be able to just
responsibility.
drag that, right, to the...
I don't know how players' game thing works. I just don't. I'm sorry.
It works, alright.
But it's your responsibility to click it. When you click it, you got to take it off your inventory.
Gotcha.
So, let's take a 5-minute break, and we will get started when we get back.
Sounds good.
Hey, Tasha, you there?
Alright, I'm back.
You.
I'm also back.
So what kind of dog do you guys have? What is Juju Bean?
Well, we have two dogs. One is mine. Her name is Jujubee, and she is a Dachshund miniature pinscher Chihuahua mix. And then he has a German Shepherd mix.
Cool. Good deal. So
Yeah,
how big
she's,
is? Go ahead.
She's just she's a little spicy meatball. She's real bad.
Spicy meatball.
She's about 13 pounds.
Little dog.
Oh yeah, big attitude though.
They usually have big attitudes, right?
You know, the dog's new to me. I didn't know that I would like a little dog, but this fucking dog is awesome.
Oh, really? Wow.
I have a German Shepherd. I previously had another German Shepherd and a Black Lab. I like this dog, and not like nothing. I think I probably like little dogs, but I didn't think I would. But this little fucking thing is awesome. She's got a shitty attitude, but you know that comes with it.
But then you can just kind of like pick it up. That's the problem. You can't do that with a big dog.
This is true.
It's true.
She is a biter though. She'll bite the shit out of you. Try to punish her. She'll bite you.
Wow.
It's true. She also likes to fight with me. Like if I growl at her, she growls back at me.
Dogs
She's
always take over their owners.
It's true.
It's just fighting for dominance in the house.
She thinks me and Tasha's 5-year-old Zachary, the dog thinks is her baby. So heaven forbid you touch him.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah, she loves him to pieces.
That is too funny. Wow.
We have 3 boys, but for some reason she just chose that one.
Huh.
Is Mal back? I didn't hear Mal.
I am here.
Okay. So I got the calendar finally going. You can feel free to use that. I don't know if you guys can create your own, but if you would like one created, I will create it. I actually made a request that players be able to add log entries or add logs. Looks like you guys can't. Looks like you guys can't, although you have a button for it. Maybe I can turn that on. I'll worry about that later, but it's there. That's the point. So everybody got their money. Everybody has some money. And you have 3 days before you're looking like your weapons are coming in. After you guys sleep, the sheriff doesn't make it around to you that evening, but he does meet you after you eat breakfast and asks if he can speak to you in private, either in the inn, where most people don't eat, in your rooms, or in his office, and he has some information to provide you. You guys have a preference, or just anywhere?
maybe a back room?
Okay, sure.
I missed that.
We're gonna
I
go with
just
back
said-
room.
Yeah, maybe back room.
So there's lots. I mean, the Helmet High Sun Tavern is pretty big. Lots of back rooms, and they're more than happy to give you one. You guys have noticed the general attitude around town was that you guys are heroes. You save the children, you save the mom, you know, it's already all around that. You guys were talking to the sheriff, you brought people out. You guys did hear that Grund is actually a local around town. He's a simpleton, as you guys discovered. He's pretty dumb, and he actually works at the market to the very bottom right, and he's pretty dim-witted, and they basically use him as comic relief, so it really shocked a lot of people to see him in armor. So somebody took a dim-witted person, put him in armor, and used him as a guard, which is kind of fucked up. But the general attitude of the town is that you guys are heroes. And the sheriff tells you as such, that you guys did a good job. He really appreciates it. He's made sure to make arrangements with the Swinging Sword and the Helmet High Sun that your free rooms and food will continue indefinitely instead of just the first 10 day, which you guys are about to run out of. But he says that he managed to interview them as well as find his collection of rumors and information people have been gathering and throwing at him. And first with the sinkhole, he tells you that they're calling it, from talking to Grund and talking to a number of other people, Baragustus, they call it the Tomb of the Delvers. And he tells you that Grund has pretty much confessed that he was hired and admits to stashing the corpses. He has fingered someone named Alberi Melico, a local quarry owner, and Emeth Welver, who oversaw the process. Baragustus is claiming innocence, but knowledge and supports Grund's accusations. So that's two people. And he basically says they are starting an investigation without the bodies. They are basically already blustering. They haven't even been accused. They don't know they've been accused. So they're already blustering. So he's warning you outright that it's not a matter of... He tells you this isn't Waterdeep where the law runs and no one knows each other. Everyone knows each other here. So some of these people have friends. We can't just... If he just comes out and throws accusations, it's not going to be, him and his 4 deputies arrest them. It's going to be a matter of, lots of the townsfolk are employed. It's going to be a fracture in the town. So he has to go about it the right way. So he wants to conduct an investigation, and he plans to go through the process the right way to bring justice to these believers.
I'll say makes sense. Can we assist at all?
He tells you that you've done a great deal of assistance, but what he does need is you to look into this concerning situation. And I'm sorry, I think I heard part of yours, Ogie. What did you say?
Just like great.
Okay, so his concern is that his stuff is just going to be looking around. At this point, it looks like it's mostly gathering information, and he's going to need to use his ties in the town. Although you guys have been a great help, at this point, it's going to be long-term years of friendship and investigation that you guys aren't going to be able to help with. But what he does need is, he said, you're welcome to come back into town as much as you want. You guys seem to be based here. I'll keep you absolutely updated since you brought this to me. But he's going to be able to take care of it on his own. But he assures you that his goal is justice for the 3 murdered, whoever they were. He knows people were murdered. But his major concern is that the Mirabaran delegation was due in at least a 10-day ago, maybe longer. They didn't have like an itinerary, but they were expecting them. So they know that they are a good deal overdue. They don't know how much overdue, but it's enough that they're concerned about it. So he has gathered some information around town as it became more and more concerning, and he has compiled what he considers to be the most credible odd occurrences or information that he has received, and he wanted to give it to you and ask you to look into it.
I think it sounds good. I think we should do it. What do you guys think?
Certainly. Oh.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And he tells you that, you know, the Mirabar delegation wasn't 50 or 5 people in a wagon. We're talking a lot of, 10 wagons, guards. There were representatives from the Emerald Enclave traveling to Golden Field. They were transporting bodies. There were many, many, many people. So if something is delaying them, or this priest had a series of trade bars, that means he got them from someone. That doesn't mean it came from this delegation, but it's an odd coincidence. So it is. You guys are welcome to take notes on the stuff I'm about to read you. We'll all type it up after the fact. But I'm going to give you a list of the most credible rumors and goings-on that he finds worthy of your attention towards this. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay.
Bye.
What'd you say?
Standing by.
Okay. The last report of the Mirabar delegation was they were seen in the town of Beliard. He's heard that from a number of people. He's heard it, and you're more than welcome to talk to the people. He's kind of gathered the information for you, but if you would like to talk to them, you're more than welcome to. So let me flip over here. The people he's heard it from there was a guard in town who was actually kicked out of the caravan, who was a hired guard. She was kicked out when they were going through Beliard, so for positive they know that they were in Beliard because the guard, who's no longer here, she was kicked out for fighting, so they fired her basically, and she was coming down this way, and he talked to her, so he knows they were in Beliard when they fired her. There's a wandering priest named Brother Eardon, Eardon. He's a priest of Lathander, and he's staying at the Swinging Sword, but he's from this area. He travels town to town just providing priestly services. He stops at the All Faith Shrine maybe once every 5 or 6, 10 days. But his only information he provided was that he stayed in Beliard at the same time they did. And so he knows they were there. He doesn't know when they left, but he does know that they were there. The other general information that he has that he thinks are worth your time. Number one is, this isn't necessarily directly related, but he suspects it may be. Indrith Valivo, the man who owns the pretty much everything shop at the very far south of town on the left side as you look at the map. I'm sorry, on the right side as you look at the map. He's the one who got you your scroll.
Right,
there.
yeah.
He says that he has recently, and he reported it himself, that he had recently been sold a very nice book of Dwarvish make, and he was actually able to find 2 or 3 more in a chest. Like, he bought one specifically, and he tends to buy junky chests, basically, full of whatever they have to sell. And he found a few more in a chest. And they're very nice. They're written in Dwarven. He says he can't read them. But he has quite a few that he's come up and they were sold to him out of by someone from a town called Womford. And I'm going to bring it up for you momentarily to show you. I'm going to give you a large map that's going to pop up on your screen here. Let me make this a little wider. It's going to be pretty big, so please forgive me. So you're right there in the middle left of Red Larch. Belliard's up here. The caravan, as I've already said, came down, hit West Bridge, took the stone trail to Belliard. That was the last time they were seen. Valavos says that they came up, the people who sold it to him were river merchants from Womford down here. Numerous books that beautiful, not like just junk books. They're well crafted, well made, and he has quite a few of them, and it was concerning. They are written in Dwarvish. He doesn't know anything about them. And the last thing that he considers credible was there are a shepherd named Larman Greenboot. He reported just to the south of town just to the south and east of town, that there were 4 freshly dug graves with rock cairns on a hilltop. He basically says he was out grazing his flock. He comes into town every couple days, but he's well known around here. And he reported it to the sheriff. He said that they're at the base of the Sumber Hills, and the Sumber Hills are pretty big. They're big hills, but he said there's 4 new graves, freshly dug in the recent last 10-day, 2-3. And the only other thing that he thought he would mention is that numerous people, and he adds this caveat, of the people that have brought it up, every one of them have been fingered as suspects with the Tomb of the Delvers issue. So every one of these people who brought this up, he wants you to know that they brought it to him and intentionally said that they were looking for the new adventurers in town to look into it. But he wanted to make sure you knew about it. That it's called, they said there was a treasure in an area south of the Larch Pass, and I can show you kind of where it would be, but he tells you basically it would be about a couple hours out of your way, but they basically said they were looking for someone specifically naming you to go look into it. But he, with new evidence, considers that to possibly be an attempt at distracting you from messing with something that concerned them that we have now discovered.
All right.
End of list.
Well, it sounds like we need to investigate some of these things. What do you guys think?
Definitely.
Was the guard that was kicked out, is she in Belliard or is she here in town?
She was in town about a day and a half ago. She was heading to Waterdeep. She left Belliard. She came here. She left. She's half-orc, drunk, cantankerous, wants to fight everybody, stormed out of town, but he heard secondhand that she was reporting that, but she's no longer in the area. She's basically said she was going to Waterdeep to get people who would pay what they promised. She's pretty pissed about being fired.
And nobody mentioned a rumor of the Marabar delegation heading to Summit Hall.
The people who saw them in Belliard said that was their intention, but that's all you know. No one has reported that they did. I'm going to take a step away for a minute, let you guys discuss this. It's starting to storm and I got windows open.
Okay. So the guard headed out of town. Brother Earden is in the Singing Sword here in town. Endrith Valivo found a whole bunch of dwarven books. We could talk with him. There's the shepherd that saw the graves. And then there's what sounds like an ambush. What do you guys think? What should we do?
Well, I remember our previous plan was to head southeast down the Cairn Road towards Bridgewright and Wamford, and then head north up the Desserin Road and see if we could find out what happened at Summit Hall, if they're there. But now we have these other detours.
Does anybody speak Dwarven?
Nope.
I need to check.
So I wonder if we can get our hands on those books and see if it's going to be helpful at all.
Not me. I don't speak Dwarven.
You have a spell for that?
I don't. I know there's a priest spell for that. Might be higher level though.
Not knowledge domain.
So the guard is probably gone. I mean, we could talk to the brother before we leave. And maybe Endrith Valivo. It sounds like the freshly dug graves will be on the way to Wamford.
Yeah.
Did we decide we would need to buy supplies? Was it too far?
Oh, I thought that Wamford was... What's the scale on this guy?
1 hex is 4 miles.
1 hex is 4 miles. Okay, so... Yeah, so that's 32 miles. That's probably a day's travel to Bardrite. I think you can move 18, 24, or 32. 32 is fast. 18 is slow, or 16 is slow.
So 2 days, day and a half, maybe?
Yeah. What do you think, Ragnar? Ogie?
I think 2 days sounds about right, because then by the time we get back, I'll my silver sword will be ready.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So do we want to talk to him before we go, or do we just want to head out?
I'm actually fine with just heading out, but what do you guys think?
What do we want to talk to that Earden in town, since he's already here?
Again?
He stayed, he was in town, he was in Beliar at the same time that the Mirabaran delegation was.
We could also talk to the shopkeep and find out exactly who he bought the books from, so we can see if we can figure out where they came from.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we might not get too much more out of Earden.
Okay. Let's do that then. We
Okay.
can make them quick conversations.
I got my windows closed, or at least, I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but it smells awesome.
Wow.
I can hear it.
If it's bothersome, I'll close the windows. And now, of course, as soon as I say that, it's coming in these windows. 2 more seconds while I
I
close.
told you to shut it.
Everybody knows Tasha was right.
Yeah, it hasn't hit me at all yet.
No one likes it.
Coming your way.
Yep.
We're sending it your way. You only live like 3 miles, 4 miles away, so give it a second. For the record, don't play Risk with JD and Natasha, because they're fucking savage.
JD wins every time. I don't know why.
You just gotta know who the right alliances are.
For the record, there's a difference between a non-aggression pact and an alliance. I made a non-aggression pact, and I was massacred by JD and Natasha. I was teamed up on for making a non-aggression pact with the wrong person.
Maybe you shouldn't have made an aggression pact with Mary. How about that?
Yeah, cheating's cheating.
An aggression pact.
Did you learn nothing from World War II?
Exactly. All I did was sign a non-aggression pact, and have you guys played Risk before, Chad, Mal?
I
Yeah,
have a long time ago.
I made a non-aggression pact with somebody who was serving as a shield between me and Natasha, and Natasha speared all the way through her territories, didn't take anything other than built a road to my territories, massacred me, and then JD massacred me from the south.
And then I massacred her for being friends with you.
And then she massacred back, and then I won.
That's true.
So yeah, when you play Risk with those two, they're fucking savage.
Duly noted.
That being said, we have some leads there. The only thing, you don't have exact location, so I didn't mark them on the map. So at this point, it's your discretion, but the only question I have for you is, do you want me to leave? If you look, I have markers on the map, the X's and circles, where you went to the Lance Rock and the Bandits and the tomb where you desecrated the grave and stole Matthias's nice shield.
It was offered as a gift.
No one's judging you. I was just making a statement. But would you like me to leave those or remove those?
I don't care.
I can't necessarily see us really needing them, but they're not cluttering up as of right now.
Okay, so if you guys want them removed, I'll just leave them for now. Some travel time you guys are looking at, assuming you guys are on foot, you're not buying horses. You can do roughly 24 miles in a day at a safe walk. So it'd take you could get almost all the way from Red Larch to Westbridge in a walk. It's about a day and a quarter walk, and then from there, it's about the same to Belliard from Westbridge. So if you wanted to walk from Westbridge to Belliard, it would be, assuming you took the most direct route, the most advantageous route, it would be about 2.5 days. You could probably maybe save a little time by taking that area called the Larch Path through the hills, but that's going to be a much more arduous time, and it probably is not going to save you much more than an hour or two. And pretty much everybody in Red Larch tells you that's, you can go that way, but it's definitely not a very well traveled, and it's just much more arduous to travel there.
Oh, we were actually going to
sprint.
Oh wait, were we going to go to Wamford or?
Wamford and I have it here. Wamford from Red Larch is going to be roughly about a day and a quarter, maybe less than that. If you guys tried to make it in a day, you could. And I'm just using the standard stats for just walking at a normal walk. If you hurried or tried to do your best to make good time, let's see. So yeah, it's 30 miles in a day if you move at a fast rate, 24 if you move at a standard walk, and it's 30 miles to Wamford. So you could do it at a fast rate. The only thing you would encounter would be a -5 on your perception scores while moving.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody tried to surprise you, you take a -5.
We were going to check out the freshly dug graves towards the southeast, and then we want to go to Wamford because Endrith Valivo bought the chest from someone in Wamford, right? The Dwarven books?
Correct. And I'm more than happy to give you more information on that if that's what you would like. I just wanted you to be able to decide which way you wanted to go with it.
Is that what you guys wanted to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
And
plan.
then ideally, we might be able to head north up to Summit Hall, which is where the delegation was supposed to end up. So we
Yeah.
might meet them on the way, conceivably.
Agreed. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to mark with a G. That's not where it's at. I have to pull something up. But I'm going to mark on the map really fast where the shallow graves are, and then you can just, and I'll give you some information that you got from Valivo. So about right there. That's about where the graves are. And we don't need to go into the nitty-gritty of the actual discussions with Valivo. Just as give me an investigation check at advantage. I don't care who does it. I can let you know what Shaban's is if you want her to do it, and then we'll provide information with that. The skill investigation is a +3 from Shaban, and it will be at advantage in this town because you guys are considered heroes here.
Mine's garbage. Somebody else do it.
I got a +3 as well.
I got a +7.
Ding, 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 winner.
Ooh.
Drop that 1. Yikes.
So, Valivo remembers you guys. You guys are heroes in town. He's more than happy to talk to you. He basically tells you that it is a book that is in Dwarvish, but it's a beautifully illuminated manuscript. And if you guys haven't ever seen those, I'm a dork, so I have. But they're basically, instead of just words, it's back when they made books and they actually made put pictures in books, but instead of drawing them, they made them with like small, like if they're going to make a picture of the sun on one page, instead of just coloring it yellow, they would take a finely beaten piece of gold and then attach it to the paper. So think scrapbooking with precious materials.
Got it. Huh.
So he tells you that he can't read it. He has no idea what it is. He bought it because it looked nice. He thought he would be able to sell it to someone. He tells you that he bought it from a peddler who was passing through town, who said that he bought it from a keelboat skipper in Wamford. And he sold him a chest that had 3 others in it, but the peddler said that the skipper had dozens of them. He does offer to sell it to you for 50 gold.
Should we ask him if we could just borrow it until we get back?
Do a persuasion check, and I would strongly think that that would probably be Shaban with a +8.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So her 25 there. He is happy to loan you the book, but would appreciate it being returned in nice quality, so he can sell it. And he hands it over to you. And it is written in Dwarvish. Anybody with that language is more than welcome to read it. If you don't know what languages you speak, they are on your abilities tab. You should have 1, 2, or 3. And if you have one that says, I think there's 2 or 3 of you that says one of your choice, that is because you haven't picked it yet. You still get to pick it anytime you want.
Wish I wouldn't have picked mine.
I just now remembered I speak Dwarvish.
Woohoo!
Awesome.
No, I lied. I speak Elvish and Common.
No.
Yep, I don't know it either.
Damn. Any way we can just look at it and kind of get the gist of what it's talking about from the illustrations?
So I have a spot open. Do you guys want me to pick Dwarvish?
Yes.
If no one else speaks it, I would say this about it from a DM's perspective. You don't want to just pick it for one thing if it's something that everybody has. But since no one else has it, you really can't go wrong, especially since you guys are following a map of a dwarvish kingdom. So, I mean, it feels to me, even not knowing anything about this, I would say it's not a bad bet.
Okay, I'll pick it.
Solid.
New
Other quick
leader.
question.
Shoot.
Do we have, does that mean that we have, 2 people who speak Elvish?
I can look.
I speak Elvish.
Well, one of us has to change.
Okay, if you guys, I usually don't allow you, but we'll
That
make
was
an
a joke.
exception here. If you guys want to look at your languages, but I will say, neither one of you can change your Elvish
Yeah.
because you're both elves.
I am only half.
Well, I think that's where your Elvish came from.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking around.
Right, but if somebody does have one that they did pick, they want to swap it, I'm okay with that. I don't think anybody actually has. I think Ogie might be the only one. Him and Shaban might be the only two that had one. But this specific book that Ogie reads is, let me pull this up. As you start reading through it, it is a genealogical history of all the dwarf clans. So it's the family tree of the powerful and rich dwarven families of the city of Mirabar.
That, I think, would be extremely valuable. Not just in a monetary sense. I can't see them letting that go.
Yeah, definitely. It has a picture. If you guys have ever seen the Hobbit, they've had genealogies, but it's basically a family tree. But instead of just having Jeff written down, it's got his full name, and it's got a square around a little picture of him, and beaten gold and silver lines connecting the family. So I mean, they have precious metals that are not just hammered but crafted into very thin lines and then glued onto the pages. I mean, it's very, very well made. It would look like someone spent months making this.
That's a good thing we borrowed it.
Yeah.
So, at this point, you guys have numerous leads, some south, some east, some north. The party will need to decide which direction to go, and while you guys do, you can discuss it. I'm going to open windows because it stopped raining and it smells fucking awesome in this place.
Well, I think it makes sense to investigate the shallow graves. I mean, if that's where the dwarves are buried, then...
Yeah, it couldn't hurt to at least take a peek.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't. Let's do it.
Awesome.
So do you guys have a long weekend now?
Off to Wednesday.
I go back Tuesday.
Same here. And you?
Our long weekend was last weekend.
Oh,
I go back to work tomorrow.
Probably the Queen's birthday or something. I'm not super sure. Oh yeah, it was. I was just informed that it was in fact the Queen's birthday on Monday.
Victoria Day, right? Is that what it is? Victoria Day?
Yeah. I'm just happy for the day off. I don't really care that much about the Queen.
Yeah, I work for a timekeeping company, so I'm privy to most of the holidays.
All right, so windows are open. Smells good in here again. Nobody's getting wet. Where are we going from Red Larch? Let's throw a P on here. We will call it the party. You guys will be signified by that P. It is the 16th. And you guys can go in whichever direction you go.
I think we just want to go to the graves, right?
Okay. Would you guys like to be escorted there? You guys asked the shepherd to take you?
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
And as I said, having attained rescuer of children hero status, definitely not a problem to get the people in town to help you. But you ask, and he's more than happy to take you. You guys don't travel very far. Each of those marks is roughly 4 miles. Some of it's, overland. It's faster on the main road, faster if the paths or trails are a little bit slower, not too awful, but overland is definitely substantially slower. So it takes you about a half a day to reach there. You're looking at about noon, and the shepherd, his name's Larman Greenboot. He has a herd which he doesn't bring with him, and he takes you directly to him, and you could tell that you may have been able to find it with the description, but it probably would have taken you a day or two of wandering. So on a barren hilltop, he takes you to 4 freshly dug graves. The earth that was scraped out of the holes is just in a pile nearby, and hastily covered stones cover the graves. There's a faint smell of the decay smell in the air, and you notice there are actually some vultures nearby circling.
Yum.
He explains that he does graze his sheep, and he passed this spot less than a month ago. He tells you when he was just coming back in the area with his sheep. He passed them a couple months ago on his way out. They weren't there about 4 10 days ago, but a couple days ago, as he was coming back into Red Larch, he passed them and he reported them, but he doesn't know, and the sheriff confirmed there's nobody missing from Red Larch, so he doesn't know who would have buried them. He tells you that he's pretty familiar with the inhabitants, and this area is not inhabited very like this. You'll find inhabitants down south along the long road, but here close to the hills there's just really not a lot of people that live over here, so he doesn't even imagine who would actually be burying people here.
Do we think it could be the dwarves?
Should we dig them up and check dental records?
How many people were supposed to be in their party?
The delegation?
Yes.
You guys don't know. You guys don't know precisely. The people in Red Larch had reports, but they knew it was a big delegation. They knew that they were traveling from Mirabar. They were stopping at Summit Hall, is what you guys had heard, taking a body there. The Emerald Enclave had a representative traveling with them that had something, no one knows what. But the dwarves were mostly traveling to Waterdeep eventually. But, I mean, enough for multiple supply wagons, 20, 30 guards, plus representatives, however many that happen to be. So, say between 30 and 50 would be your best guess.
About how long are these graves? Like, are they about human length or dwarf length?
There are three, and that's a good question. There are three that are about 5 to 6 feet tall, and one that is more 4 to 5 feet tall. There's one noticeably shorter.
We need to look in that short grave.
What are we going to be looking for?
A dwarf.
So if we do find a dwarf, what are we going to get from that?
Well, I mean, we'll know if it's dead. Whatever. We don't have to.
For fairness, that ooh was actually the sound effect I was trying to find when she fucking snapped at you.
I did not snap.
A dwarf, the unspoken word, dumbass.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I apologize.
I mean, I'm fine doing some digging, but I'm just not sure what we can get out of it.
Well, if they have
Okay,
any sort of like maybe armor or like a marking or a pin or something, but that might be gone.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's much better than a dwarf.
Haha.
So we know that a keel boat guy on the river sold stuff in Wamford. We have these graves here. I wonder if there's something going on with that Veil of Dancing Waters, whatever that is. Because the keel boat guy, I assume the river flows to the south?
It does. It does flow to the south. But as a general information, those of you who are from this area, you don't even really need to do a check. You know some vague information that the Veil of Dancing Waters is actually a... I mean, it's been many things, but for the most part, the Veil of Dancing Waters is a area that is sacred to dwarves and their gods. It's more of a... At one time, it was bigger, but it's pretty much a sacred site to the dwarves. It's not a city or anything like that, but it's definitely has some inhabitants, but it's not a major thing outside of dwarven religious purposes that you know of.
All right. Well, what do we think? Dig it up?
Sure. Let's do it.
Done.
Yay.
All right, maybe we should send the shepherd back before he realizes we're
great.
going to dig up a grave.
Okay, he nods, takes whatever excuse you guys give him, and he heads back and says, "Good luck to you." And walks away. Thanks for the payment, dicks. Just kidding. He thanks you guys for everything you did to save the people in town. Burn! You get a Wilhelm scream in here. And he heads away. You guys dig him up. You find a dwarf.
I knew it.
So, as you excavate the graves, this is what you find. The short one does indeed contain a male dwarf. He is not wearing armor, but what he is wearing is bloodied robes that indicate an artisan. So they're they look like in his hands and other things give you clues that he is not a warrior, but an artist, and specifically a blacksmith. On his chest is a small embroidered symbol of the Axe of Mirabar, which you are now very familiar with. There's also a female human dressed in a black surcoat with the same red axe of Mirabar on her chest. So one female human, one dwarf. The female human is clearly a warrior. Her dress and number of things tell you she's a warrior. The dwarf was a craftsman, an artist. There's a male human dressed in a black cloak with the same symbol you have seen before carved in the three victims' heads on the armor of the priest who attacked you. This man is also wearing strange stony armor. It is cracked, but his cloak has that same symbol on it. So you've seen it on the heads of those guys, on the armor of the priest who attacked you in the Tomb of the Delvers, and now you're seeing it here. And the fourth one is a male human who looks completely different. He's wearing a white robe, and he has black feathers at his shoulders. He has no symbol, but all of them have died from arrow wounds or crushing blows.
Well, it looks like there was some conflict there.
Give me a perception check. From everybody, sorry.
I perceived nothing.
Look, dead people.
All right. Shaban came up with a 21, Ragnar with 17. So from this hilltop, you do have a good view of the surrounding hills. Several miles to the west and more northwest, you see in the hills, there's a number of hills between you, but what you can see is a thin to the west you see the outline of Red Larch, but to the north you see a old slender tower that juts above the hills, and it looks like it's being circled by large birds. And I'm going to throw a token. Let's see, how about a T for tower? This isn't where it is, I just threw it on the map, and I will move it to where it goes. But other than that, you don't see anything else from the bodies and the tower, which happens to be right here.
Well, I think we should go investigate that first. What do you think?
Makes sense to me.
Just to quickly clarify something, so none of these bodies really look like they have anything like armor or weapons or other such things.
The only thing you see right now, as far as armor and weapon, or armor, no weapons, is the stony armor of one of them, but it's severely damaged and from arrows and crushing blows. It definitely was damaged pretty good.
Okay. Well, I would like to start covering up bodies again.
Make lots of them.
Tuck
So
them
you're
in.
gonna cover them in?
Bury them?
Yeah, just kind of, get them underground a little bit better.
I'll help do that as well.
Me too.
Okay, you guys rebury the bodies. and you are looking at about 3 in the afternoon, 3:30, and at this point you guys have a couple directions you can go.
Hey guys, I just had a buddy show up here. I'm probably gonna have to dip out a little bit early tonight. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
I
User
don't
disconnected from
I don't
your
have a
channel.
problem if you guys want to stop here before heading anywhere else. I also don't have a problem keeping going. It's a party's call.
I'm cool continuing to go. What do you guys think?
Same.
Sure, whatever you guys want to do.
We have 1 more hour, is that right?
About. Yes, hour and 4 minutes. Had to find the time.
Cool.
So you guys are wanting to head where now?
Towards the tower.
Okay. I'm going to head up towards the tower and pull this up real quick. I'm pulling it up now. Just give me a second. All right. So I'm going to send you a picture. I'm preloading it now. It takes you guys about 4 hours, and you're getting there right about sundown. I mean, about 40 minutes before sundown. You notice that the tower is built in a gorge. There's a huge gash in the earth, and it has a drawbridge that is up, although it doesn't show it in the pictures. There's numerous large birds around the tower. They appear to be vultures. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and I'm going to send you a picture. So, a spire rises from a pillar of rock high into the air, the tallest point for miles beyond measure. Built from white limestone, not native to this area, and embellished with marble. The spire resembles a gleaming sword that pierces the sky, and the gatehouse faces the opposite cliff, its drawbridge the only point of entry currently up. Tall, wide windows encompass the bottom lower level of the tower, absent only upon the gatehouse side. So there's none. A circle of open stalls ring the tower's foundation, so you can tell that they look like they're stalls where it meets the rock. Above each stall is the sculpture of a hippogriff in flight that looks like it leaps from the tower's base, and beneath, to the east, is a gorge that yawns through the hills. Did you guys all happen to get that?
The image, yeah.
Yeah. So, as you approach, I'm going to now be sending you, in a second, a map, an actual map of the area where you can approach the actual area. I got to preload that. So as you do approach it, there are people, and as you kind of squint at the birds, you do notice that the birds there are people on them. They don't seem to be greeting you, but they definitely seem to be watching you. And I'm going to send you this. The picture has the drawbridge down, but it is actually not down.
How many birds and riders are in the sky?
There are 3. So the level you guys are on is not the same level as the stalls I described. The level you're on is the nice, tall, fancy windows that you see there on that actual picture.
So obviously we have been seen.
Would I know anything about this?
You have never heard of this. So as you approach, you notice there is a nice set of doors there, double doors as it were. And 1 second, I'll get you an actual approach. So a gap of 20 feet separates the ledge where the path ends from the closed drawbridge of the spire. The space between the cliff's edge and the gatehouse drops several hundred feet to the bottom of the canyon. Near the ledge, a brass bell hangs from a wooden post. So on your side, there's a post with a brass bell on it. It looks like it's intended to be used as a doorbell, like for you guys to ring it, but that's, you're being watched.
I ring the bell.
All right. Ogie walks up and gives the bell an ever so Goliath gentle jingle. It's pretty loud, not awfully, but this area is canyony. And the window, a small window next to the door, after about a good minute, opens up, and a woman sticks her head out. She looks like she's wearing armor, and she kind of looks at you, all 5 of you, with Owl included, and says, "Welcome to Feathergale Spire. What brings you this way so close to dark?"
Does Siobhan want to talk since she's a woman?
I will do checks with Siobhan if you guys would like, if you guys want to do persuasion checks or what have you, but one of you 3 have to actually do the talking.
You do it, Ogie.
I'm not really good at that.
You can use Siobhan. You can do it. If you don't want to, it's okay.
We just were walking by the tower and we came to say hi.
Okay. The lady looks and says, "Well, is there..." Says, "You got a lot of weapons. Do you mean any harm?"
We mean no harm.
So I'm going to roll a persuasion check here from Siobhan. And she says, "Well, if you mean no harm and you come by your honor, we will allow you inside, and we don't think it's probably safe to travel the hills at night, so we will be more than happy to offer you respite for the evening."
Great, thanks.
So she lowers the drawbridge, and she lets you into the main foyer, I guess that would be. And I'm going to pull that up, give you a description. Give me a second to get all that. So the entrance is a 30-foot long hall of white stone, and you can tell this place was expensive to have all this stone brought here that isn't from here. At the opposite end of the hall are two 12-foot tall doors that, like those at the entry gate, and there's an eagle carved from a massive timber hangs from the far side of the ceiling, suspended on strong chains. Slender wings of steel sweep across its sides, and its head is fashioned of steel. So what that would actually look like is at the far side, so you guys come through the door on the left, and you see this massive, basically battering ram hanging from chains above the far door. And you would wager, just off of common sense, that if you were to have stormed through here, stormed the gates, and someone pulled a lever, and you happened to be standing in the doorway, you'd catch a chest full of pissed off battering rams shaped like an eagle knocking you back. So it looks like it's a tower defense. If you were to have reached the gate, somebody would have pulled a lever, it would have swung down and hit whoever was in the doorway. When you make it in, Savra tells you, and she introduces herself. Her name is Savra Bellabranta, and I'm going to spell that for anyone taking notes. And she's wearing armor, and she tells you that she is a member of the Feathergale Knights. Also inside of the room are two initiates to the knighthood. I'm going to send you guys a nice little picture of them. So this is a general picture of a Feathergale Knight. It's not Savra specifically, but this is a member of the knighthood. Big ass crossbow, nice cape there.
I ask her if there's any unusual behavior going on around here.
Savra tells you that you actually have really excellent timing. She tells you that the leader of their knighthood, a man named Thrul Murkaska, I'm going to type these because they're difficult to spell and pronounce, is having a feast commemorating the 10th anniversary of the foundation of the knighthood, the Feathergale Society knighthood. And they're planning a feast tonight, and it's fortuitous that you happen to come on this evening. So she invites you to meet Thrul and accept their hospitality, as is demanded by the knightly code to provide hospitality to friendly visitors. So she offers to provide you with a feast, a seat at the feast of their celebration, and a bed for the night. The two guards are standard guards. They're not really talking. And she offers to escort you guys.
That's outstanding. We would love to accept.
Okay. So is everybody going? I don't want to assume.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm following.
Yep.
So she takes you through the door. You don't have to fight the, battering ram eagle. You guys came on in. The little staircase there. There's not really much description, but it is a double directional stair, as you can take a peek there. Goes down and goes up. You guys go up. And you can hear from where you're standing that the down is very clearly an aviary. That's where birds live. And from the sound of it, definitely not small birds. Definitely the larger variety of birds.
Like dragon birds?
I'd say more like vultures, but we can go with that. So Give me a second. I have to unmask an unusual shaped room on the second floor, and then I will share it with you.
Can you share that? Yeah, just share it whenever you can. Sorry.
You need an old one shared or the new one?
The old one, yeah.
Did you get it?
Yep.
So I also identified them so you can see them easily. But give me a second to get this new one shared. You can minimize them. You're going up the steps to the second one. And I'm going to it's going to be a small one, but I'm going to let you guys just see it. And at later points, if you move around, you'll be able to see more. But this is all you get for now. So that's all you get for now, and I know it's possibly not worth an amazing amount of your time, but for now, that's what you get. You got the first floor. She takes you up the second floor. And she keeps going up, making her way up and up and up and up and up. And give me just a second here to pull this up. And as she makes her way up, she takes you to the third. Let's see, she takes you past the third floor, and when you come up the third floor, and I'm gonna just unmask the same, roughly, not a whole lot of information. This one has 4 doors, as opposed to the previous one that just had 1. You can minimize these, close them. They're not of any major use to you right now. I'm just providing them to you. So this is the map of the top. It's not masked, but I mean you're all the way at the top. Did not mean to mask it. Apparently I did mask it. Let's see. Delete the mask. So you've mostly been walking up steps. You get to the top. At the apex of the top tower, the stairs terminate at a round stone gazebo that continues upward in a needle-like minaret. Beyond this small enclosure, the little gazebo, you can see the walls of it, that protect you from the wind. A small lawn actually grows at the top. There are 4 paths paved with white stones pointed in the direction of a compass, north, south, east, and west. Each path ending in a pointed stone crenellation. And if you look back to the original image, you don't have to, but if you were to look back at the actual original image, you see the actual points, crenellations coming off. Each of them end in a stone crenellation, and the pinnacle's edge is a spyglass on a tripod pointing downward, like someone was looking down at the drawbridge. So someone was probably watching you. From this vantage point, the Feather Gale Knights possess a supreme view of all that transpires in the nearby canyon and the somber hills beyond. And from here, you can see the 3 knights. They're dressed like Savra. They are on the back of giant vultures, and they are just swooping, not just around the tower. It looks like one's always around the tower. One goes out in one direction, comes back. Then the one that was around the tower goes out, comes back. They tend to take turns. But as you make your way all the way to the pinnacle, you reach the pinnacle, and at the very top, you see a number of people, and on the actual lawn, you see 2 Feather and Gale Knights standing near giant vultures, not in the air, and they are resting their mounts. They're kind of, loving on them. When you first get up there, you notice a man who's wearing what looks to be nicer armor. He's got, more accoutrements. He's an older gentleman. And he turns when Savra gets to the top and makes his way over to you, and he introduces himself as Thurl Maraska, and tells you or welcomes you to Feather Gale Spire.
Thank you for having us this evening.
He says he was watching you approach, and he asks if Savr has offered to invite you to the feast and provide you a room for the evening.
Yes, she has.
Okay. He says that you're more than welcome to get cleaned up. They will provide you rooms if you'd like. They're not fancy. We are a knighthood. But he says that the feast should start in about 2 hours. If you would like to rest, you may. If you'd like to stay up here and enjoy the view, if you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything, he's mostly just he says he likes to watch the sunset every night.
Okay, thank you so much.
Dimble will he'll step forward and grab at the what looks like the wing flaps on his armor and say, "Ooh, what's this? What's it do?"
No.
He kind of moves. He seems to be definitely of noble birth, and so he doesn't like jerk away or act in any way offended. And he kind of gently moves his arm away, moves his arm when he just to adjust it, to hold it out for you to see. But you notice when he holds it out for you to see, it just happens to come out of your hand. But he makes it appear like he's trying to show you better when he gets your grimy hands off his armor. And he tells you that these are emergency flaps. If, heaven forbid, one of our mounts were to be killed or injured and the rider needed to glide, these are designed to allow the rider to glide out of the air and suffer minimal damage if the its mount were to be injured.
Wow, I should get one of those. What do you think, guys?
Maybe later.
Dimble sulks.
Okay, so does anybody want to talk to the leader of the knights? Or are you guys looking to pass some time until the feast?
Dimble will ask some questions. No, go ahead though, Matthias, if you want to.
Now, if you want to ask questions at the feast, you can do that too. I'm just at this specific point.
This is just for a better mental image for me. Is it possible to see, like, I know they're kind of far away, but Summit Hall, Wallingford and such, or is it not out of like visual range specifically?
You're quite a bit away from visual range. If you look on the picture, I'm going to send it to you.
Right, okay.
You're blocked by the hills.
Alright, cool.
Did you have questions, Dimble?
Dimble will run up right to the edge of the tower and start hopping around, looking down, looking all over the place. He says, "Wow, you all must see everything from here."
Thrall kind of watches you, wonders if you're going to jump at first, but he kind of smirks at your happiness and says, "We have a very good view, but the view is even better from the back of a mount. But we can discuss that later."
Okay, I'll hold my questions until we have dinner.
Okay. So at this point, I don't care, but the dinner is an actual role-playing thing. It's enjoyable. It's role-playing, but it's also a social interaction. So if you guys want to call it here, so we have everyone here for that, especially Shaban, I'm okay with that. I don't mind to keep going, but what I don't want to do is start it and then stop and then try and pick the atmosphere back up.
Agreed.
I don't think we have enough time in 40 minutes to finish, and I don't want to shortchange you what is a really enjoyable encounter that, to be honest, based off what I've seen, about 60% of players never get to experience when they play this campaign. 60% of players, from what I've seen, attack the front gate.
Oh wow.
Really?
It is. It's a very enjoyable encounter. Conversation, role playing. It's not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's anything. I'm just saying it's enjoyable to run for good, bad, ugly, and evil. And if we start now, we're gonna have to stop and then try and recreate the atmosphere. And I don't think that's gonna be very effective or enjoyable.
It's a good thing we got in without Siobhan here. She's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay? Just calling it a little early so we don't shortchange on that experience.
No
Okay.
problem. We can bring the murder hobo back in.
Alrighty. So, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to look over on their sheet or anything since we have some time? You guys are welcome to head out if you don't have any. I'm going to hang out, but does anybody have anything they want to go over on your character sheet? Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, anything about your notes you want to get straight?
I'm looking through mine.
Take a peek.
How's your brother enjoying things, Mal? Did he run away?
He's not really paying attention. He's playing some Fallout 4 in the background.
I haven't played Fallout. Is it any good?
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
I'm a Witcher
But,
man myself.
Ooh, excellent choice.
I'm on. Tasha's just starting The Witcher 3. I'm about halfway through it.
I actually recently started playing the first one the first time after having owned it for several years.